Welcome back everyone, I'm Kidplays Games and this is EVE Online, and today we're going to be fitting out a Tech 1 MOA cruiser for running level 2 security missions. So let's have a look at the MOA. And this is the MOA. Per skill level of Caldari cruiser skill, you will receive a 5% bonus to your medium hybrid turret damage and 4% bonus to all shield resistances. This is very much like the Maller that we did last time out. Damage and resistances, just shield and hybrid turret this time. Let's have a look at the fitting. Fitting wise, we have 5 high power slots and 5 turret slots, so that's easy to work out. 5 medium power slots, which will be shield, obviously to take advantage of our extra shield resistances, and 4 low power slots, 3 medium rig slots, and a 15 cubic meter drone bay. When we're looking at attributes, our drone bandwidth is also 15, so we can have 3 light drones. So let's simulate the ship and get down to work. 3 years ago we did a fitting video on the Maller, and that time we did a long range sniper with rail guns and an active shield tank. I'm not sure whether I want to attempt a passive shield tanked blaster fit, but we're definitely going to do blasters. So let's have a look at that. Let's put some blasters on this thing. We'll go to turrets and launchers, hybrid turrets, blasters, medium. Now, neutrons are the largest ones we can fit, but I'm not going to fit neutrons because they take a lot of fitting space. I'm going to do ions. I believe modal is the meter level 4. Yes, meter level 4. That is the best of the Tech 1. That's neutrons you fill. As we see, if we put 5 neutrons on, we use almost all the power grid on the ship. So let's put some ions on. If we need to, we can drop down to electrons. Okay, now we have some blasters. We'll go to charges, click the gun, pick what we want. Antimatter charge is the shortest range, highest damage. As we see, the range is appalling. 1,875 meters, and the fall-off range is under 7,000 meters as well. So this is absolute point-blank range, face punching. So to get into that range, we're definitely going to need a microwatt drive. 50 meganewton quad lift restrained on. Cap life down to 250. Not great, because hybrid weapons do burn capacitor to fire. Even if we were to change to lead, which I believe is the least cap intensive, the cap is still running out in 3 minutes 40. So you might as well go all in and go antimatter charge. Now, because the cap is so bad, thanks chiefly to this microwatt drive, and we need the microwatt drive to get the guns into range, we are going to go passive shield on this, believe it or not. Now, we've only got 4 slots to play with, so we're going to go 2 large shield extenders if we can. Get a couple of restraints. Yes, power grid lets us do that. And we're going to go 1 multi-spectrum shield hardener. We'll do an enduring. And the final empty mid slot really needs to be something for capacitor. We are not going to have enough power to do a large compact, even though that would make us stable, which is weird. But we can do a medium compact. Gives us 4 minutes 35, still not great. Damage is 235. We're going to boost that by putting some light drones on. We'll just do our usual 3 hobgoblins because I'm being lazy. There they are, 3 of them. Gives us 280 DPS. We're going to increase the DPS by going down to weapon upgrades and find the magnetic field stabilizers. We're going to put on 2 of these for the moment because that's 373 DPS. That's more than enough DPS, so we don't actually need any more damage. What we need is either more shield regen and or more capacitor. Capacitor we can do with cap power relays. So just a single one of these will put us up to 10 minutes 50. We'll do a restrained. So 10 minute 50 is not bad. And then what we can do a power diagnostic system. Not only does this give us more cap, it also gives us more shield. As we see, it gives us 4.5% more shield hit points, and it speeds up the shield recharge rate by 8%. So we're going from 23 hit points a second up to 26, and now the fit is cap stable, which is lovely. However, what we do not have is a stasis webifier, and that is a bit of a problem. In fact, that's quite a big problem. So I'm wondering, could we be so brazen as to take off the shield hardener and replace it with a web? Okay, that's interesting. We know that we get a 20% bonus from our skills, 4% bonus to all shield resistances per level. Usually your EM resistance would be 0, but because we have level 5, 5 times 4 is 20. So we've got kind of middling shield resist. We can boost them with rigs if we need to. One other interesting thing is if we use an enduring stasis weather fire, then we don't actually need the powered diagnostic system anymore because the ship is cap stable. So now we have this, which is free. So we could improve the damage a bit more. There is one thing we could fit here that adds a little tiny bit of resistances, but I don't really want to do that. It's a damage control. I mean, it only adds 7.5% to shield, and that's just pathetic. The compact, 10%. Is it worth it for like a tiny little bit? If we're going to do shield resistances, I'd rather do that with the rigs. So what we'll do instead, we'll go to shield, and we can have a look at shield power relays and shield flux coils, which will also increase the regen rate of the shield. Now, the shield power relay does make us go back under cap stability, because shield power relays increase the recharge rate of the shield by 20%, but they reduce the capacitor recharge rate by 30%. The shield flux coils will give us 28% faster shield recharge, but they reduce the shield hit point amount by 15. So at the minute, we're at 23 hit points a second. We put one of these on, we'll go up to 27, but we'll lose some overall hit points. And if we use a shield power relay, we'll go up to 29, but we won't be cap stable. So I'm going to do a shield power relay. We'll do a restrained because it reduces the amount of shield hit points least. So we'll do that. We're up to 27 hit points a second. I'm looking to get over 30 because that is how much a medium shield booster would give us. Because we know we're going to have to be flying into the teeth of the enemy and taking a lot of fire until we get into range to webify things, to slow them down, to kill them with our 373 DPS. So we need to be able to take a punch. So let's have a look at the rigs now. Shield rigs. I really want to get the EM and thermal resistances up, so we'll do them first. There's the EM, there's the thermal. That's a bit better. 44, 56, 52 and 60. And then we can either do an extender, which will give us more hit points and therefore faster regen. Because if you increase the raw hit points, when we mouse over this, it tells us we have 7,762 hit points, and they recharge from 0 to maximum over the course of 703 seconds, and that works out at 27 hit points a second. If we add an extender, you'll notice the time does not change, but the overall hit points does. So we go up to 8,926 hit points, and it still goes from 0 to maximum in 703 seconds, which will give us 31 hit points a second. Or if we do a purger, that reduces the time. It doesn't increase the amount of hit points, but it does reduce the time. And that then gives us 34 hit points a second. So the purger would be better for the regen, even though we'll have less hit points for the enemy to chew on. But I think that's what we're gonna go with. It's nice and fast. It can slow things down with a web. It's over 30 hit points a second. It's cap stable, which is nice, which is what the Malar was not. So we can just leave everything running all the time and not worry about anything. 5 minutes 50 isn't great. Of course, as soon as the micro warp drive is turned off, it's more than stable, because the only thing that really eats cap is a webifier. The guns do eat cap, but it's a very, very small amount. So I think we're going to go with this. I'm going to go and buy that, and then we'll go and run some level 2 missions. And there we have it. One fully kitted out Moa. Quite a cool looking ship. Looks a little bit like the Serenity from Firefly, but there you go. Let's get a mission with this thing. It's the Damsel in Distress. This is going to be fun. It's one jump away. We're being paid 121,000 ISK for doing this mission, with 315 loyalty points on top, and 131,000 extra ISK if we complete the mission within 2 hours and 30 minutes. 2 hours 30 tells you that the game thinks it's relatively easy, and we're being tasked with retrieving 1 unit of the damsel. There is no badge that tells you who this is against, but it's against mercenaries, and they are weakest to kinetic and thermal. And we are using hybrid weapons, which always do various ratios of kinetic and thermal. So this is going to be perfect. Our resistances are pretty good, 56 and 52. This is going to be just fine. Let's accept and get a move on. On the way to the mission, I've arranged all the modules how I want them. I've put the drones in a folder. Let's have a look at skins for this ship, shall we? So right click and show info. We're doing it through the show info skins page because the skins browser on the fitting page is absolutely abominable. Oh crikey, I've got a lot of skins for this ship. Don't know where I've picked them up from. Well, that just looks ridiculous. Let's not do that. It's pretty cool. Jita 4.4, that looks pretty damn nice. I have no idea where to get all these skins from. They just appear. Halcyon Dawn, ugh, that's horrible. Guristas, Biosecurity. What was the first one? I think the first one was the best one. No, maybe not that one. Alright, we'll go for the Jita 4.4 one. Why not? There we are. Right, let's go to the mission.
Warp drive active.
There's nothing to turn on because we're passive. At least our tank is passive. All the resistances comes from the ship hull and the rigs, so there's nothing to turn on there. You don't have to worry about cap management in the mission because we know that it's cap stable even with everything running. Here we go. This mission has lots of different spawns in it. When you shoot at Crow, that will trigger the first spawn, so let's not shoot at him. What is our range? Okay, we need to kind of keep things at range like 5,000. We need to be right up in their business, so let's do that. Web him. Keep him at range. Open fire. Missing rather a lot, which is not great. That's better. It would help if I'd actually kept it at range. I forgot to do that. So web it to slow it down, and then blap it with the blasters. When blasters hit, they make a right mess. Okay, that's our next target. Probably hit him on approach. Yep. You don't always have to use the web. It's just a nice thing to have. Keep it range, keeps us nicely lined up. Because these guys are mercenaries, each of them is dropping at least some kind of loot, because that's how mercenaries work. They all drop at least something, and they have bounty as well, so mercenaries can be a good earner. Right, now we can go on to Crow. When we attack him, we're probably going to get a reinforcement wave. Yep, as we see in local, we get a message about reinforcements as soon as you shoot him. These are mercenary elite fighters, and a lot of them. But Crow's going down like a sack of potatoes. Let's keep these guys at range. Did not mean to turn off my microwatt drive. I'm going to have to turn that back on. Even though these guys say they're elite, they're not actually elite. It's just their name. They don't have any huge resistances. They don't web or scram. They're just normal little dudes. This guy seems to be within web range, so we'll take him next. Just blap him with our blasters. Pew pew! He's dead. This guy's next. We just take him in range order. Now on this ship, we do need to take heed of our low shield warning. If we get below 50% shield, we need to actually start paying attention. Kind of bouncing off the terrain, that's not good. That's going to slow us down. This guy's the next target. These guys are firing missiles at us. That's what these lovely explosions are. We're kind of getting hung up on the scenery, so we're going to have to try and get away from that. There we go, that's a bit better. Getting everything's just getting smashed in the face because blasters. And we're missing a lot now because we're out of range, because even our fall-off range is only 6,800 metres. Keep this guy at range, web him to slow him down. Blap, blap, blap. And this guy's a little bit further away, we'll just approach him. Come on, die, Mr. Elite Fighter. Right, this one's been a bit of a pain. We're missing this guy an awful lot. I'm not entirely sure why. Let's keep it at range. Keep ourselves lined up. There we go. Jesus, what was his problem? The frigate that refused to die. And blap. Okay, now this is one thing I love talking about. The new opportunities UI simply says we need the damsel in our cargo hold. If we looked in every single one of these wrecks, we would not find the damsel because she is not in a wreck. She is in Crow's Pleasure Hub, which for some weird reason, because the developers are lazy, that's the reason, is not marked as an overseer's structure so it doesn't stand out. What it is, if we right click and add it, it's a large collidable structure. So it's one of, and when you add large collidable structure, you suddenly see that we're getting this communications tower, that communications tower, this slave pen thing, that slave pen thing, and everything else that we can't really tell what is what. We don't even know which one of these we're supposed to kill. It's a pleasure hub. Again, this is something that the developers really need to fix. It's becoming really rather annoying. Far too many missions have the mission critical structure hidden because it's not an overseer structure, so it doesn't show up in the default overview. And B, this UI does not tell you that you need to destroy the pleasure hub, so you don't even know you have to go looking for it. Anyway, that's enough moaning. Let's kill this thing. That usually brings in more reinforcements, but not today. And there, oh, there's more passengers. There's some exotic dancers. We'll take them. I'm not going to tell you what we're going to be doing with them, but I'm taking them with me.
Warp drive active.
And no reinforcements when we kill that. Let's get out of here. It has been a meme for a very long time that you always have one unit of exotic dancers in your cargo at all times, so if you get killed, you drop that as loot. I don't know why, but it's always been like that. And they're worth a decent amount to sell as well, which is weird. But anyway, that's the first mission over, and no problem at all. Alright, we're back. Let's complete the mission and get another one. Silence the informant. Find the former secret agent and eliminate him before he can reveal the top secret information, blah blah blah. This is also going to be against mercenaries. Hurrah! We're being paid 215,000 ISK and 401 loyalty points for completing this mission, with another 209,000 if you complete it within 3 hours and 12 minutes. 3 hours 12 tells you it's a little bit more difficult than the previous mission, so let's find out if that's true. Alright, on the way to the mission, let's see what this one is like. Now, one thing to mention about passive shields is that the shields do not regenerate on a static line. So this 34 hit points a second regen rate is not 34 hit points a second all the time. That is the maximum regeneration rate. And that occurs at somewhere around 35% shield capacity. So if we go below 50% shield, it means we're approaching that limit. If we go below 35, that means that our shields are not able to keep up with the amount of damage we're taking, and we really need to think about leaving.
Warp drive active.
Acceleration gate means we're going to get dropped off at a predetermined point in space, so let's go. When our shields are at like 90 odd %, we'll only be getting like 10 or 12 hit points a second regeneration rate. It's drones in the first room. They're fairly close. Oh, and these ones are even closer. So begin by keeping these ones at range. Good. Everything's woken up. That's good. Another thing to note about passive shield, and especially when you're using a micro warp drive, is that all the shield extenders and micro warp drive are ballooning our signature radius, which makes our ship appear to be much larger than it actually is on the enemy scopes, and that means we're easier to target and we actually take more damage. But we're fine. We'll be fine. It's only level 2 missions. Once all these drones are dead, I'll take you through the signature radius thing. Pew pew. Only little baby drones. And now they're dead. Okay, to the fitting screen. Go to simulation mode. So when the micro warp drive and everything else is on, we appear to be 988 meters long. And this ship doesn't look like it's a kilometer long. If you turn the micro warp drive off, it then drops to 186 meters. If you then turn the shield extenders off, it goes down to 152. I believe the purger has the same effect, and the shield hardener rigs. So in reality, this ship is only 135 meters long. But because of all the stuff we have fitted, we appear to be 988 meters. And that's why I really wanted to have the shield regen over 30.
Warp drive active.
Because I knew that that would make our signature radius larger, which means we take more damage. So I wanted to make sure we had a good solid tank. There's some mercenaries. Let's just approach them. They're a million miles away. Let's turn on the micro warp drive. God, these guys are actually over 100 kilometers away. That is ridiculous. Everything's kind of spawning in really slowly. It's just little groups of 2. 4 groups of 2. Not difficult. I think I'll spit out the drones and let the drones have a go at the ones that have aggressed us. There they go. Off you go, little drones. Have some fun. I'm going to go and chew up these guys. He's in range. Let's go. Blap. Missing because I'm trying to pull range. Now we'll hit. We had to slow down to pull range on the guy. Good. The drones have killed one. They're on the case for the next one. That's good. I'll approach the next lot. It's a group of 3 this time. Again, as these guys are mercenaries, they'll all drop something. None of the drones dropped anything because drones never do. Good, the drones have killed these 2. And these 2 here that have aggressed are also in range. Let's keep this guy at range. Blap him. I'm going to send the drones to kill the ones that are further away, because I can take care of the ones that are up close. Me and me blasters. Well, the drones even have reached these other guys before I kill these 3. Probably just. Right, let's go and help the drones. 3 unbonus Tech 1 drones killing these frigates just fine. And this guy is going to die very, very quickly. Boom, dead. Right, bring the drones back, get through this gate. Reload my guns. Hybrid weapons reload in only 5 seconds, which is lovely. There we go, reloaded already. And on to the third and I believe final room, which I think has gun turrets and 1 ship and a structure, I think.
Warp drive active.
And one other thing to note, I have no implants and combat boosters active, so everything you see is purely based on skills. If you have maximum skills like I do, you'll get exactly the same performance in this ship. 1 gun turret. Okay, 1 gun turret, 1 ship, and a structure which mercifully is, when we right click it, a Dead Space Overseer structure, which is what every mission critical structure should be. And the strange thing is that on this particular mission, you don't even need to kill the structure. It's not even mission critical, and it's labelled correctly as an overseer structure. So go figure. That's a gun turret taken care of. Let's just go and kill the named NPC, web him up, light him up. We'll just mash through this guy. He will not last long. Barely any resistances. He's dead. We'll check our cargo. Okay, we didn't actually have to pick up anything from his wreck. Well, that's good. Sometimes you have to bring back one unit of reports, but not this time. Now, what is in here? Hey, would you look at that? We have a 3% reduced cap need for remote armor repair system. And that's worth 17.2 million. I'll be taking that. And we have 3% to small hybrid turret damage implants as well. Well, that's a nice bonus for a level 2 mission. Let's get out of here.
Warp drive active.
Here we are, safe and sound, back at the agent. Let's complete the mission and complete this video. Well, this fit seems to work well. We just kind of threw it together. Nothing in these 2 level 2 missions came even close to breaking the tank. Everything was dying. We were missing quite a lot. But I think that's because we were boomeranging. Because our range is so short, our keep it range was down at 5,000 kilometers. We were approaching things at 1,560 meters a second, webbing them when we got into range, and then we were kind of bouncing off them. And whilst we were bouncing off them or shooting past them to establish our keep it range, we were missing because that shot the angular velocity up until we actually got into our proper range and got lined up, and then things died. So that's something else you need to take into account, is sometimes it takes you a little while to get into range, and maybe you might not want to open fire until you're actually established in your range, otherwise you're just going to miss and waste all your ammo. But we did fine. We did a couple of missions. We got some exotic dancers and 3 implants worth 20 million. That's probably going to pay for this ship, so that's lovely. So come back next time and see what ship we build then. Until then, do look after yourself, and I'll speak to you again soon.